Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Max and Trev with BuzzTox, and this is the greatest episode of Westworld so far.
Yeah. Including the premiere.
My brain has been turned to mush.
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about for this episode, and this is just our reaction and review, so we're literally just puking out our thoughts with no real script, but there's a ton of shit to talk about. Like, first of all, we were big subscribers to the fact that William was actually a man in the past 30 years ago, and we're watching Dolores kind of be corrupted and change in the modern era, in the true storyline.
We'll say post-Abernathy breakdown.
Yes.
Right? So, we see her, as usual, wake up. It really still sounds like Bernard whispering to her. And she wakes up, she opens her drawer as if she was putting away linens, and she sees the gun, confirming that this is post-Abernathy breakdown, because that's, well, at least we've seen...
Because she was given the gun.
She was given the gun after.
Yeah. But then
so we're led to believe.
Yeah, but then what's crazy about it is she takes the gun, looks at it, puts it away, looks in the mirror, and almost looks down again, and the gun isn't there.
And she resolves for it, almost like she then goes back into loop mode.
Exactly, and this is key, because what you just witnessed is how they're shifting timelines in the show.
Yes, and this happens more and more frequently through the entire episode.
What you guys just witnessed is the present Dolores, who is talking with Bernard, go back 30 years, and now you're seeing Dolores 30 years ago.
Yes.
Okay? So then she goes out, and it cuts. You don't see her say, "Hi, Daddy."
But this is what happens. You just see her meet up with Teddy. Teddy comes in with a new guest, who's a woman. They do their thing beforehand, like they capture a wanted guy.
And for the guest that's with Teddy, I feel like I know she's a guest because of the way she handles herself, but it feels like she's the kind of person who goes in there all the time and spends time with Teddy.
Yeah, it could be like Teddy's like her main source, but it definitely got upgraded for her during this episode.
Yeah, and then so Dolores has a conversation with Teddy, and she wants to run away with him. And he tells her someday, and it shows that he has kind of a mysterious origin.
Yes. And
it makes her angry. And then...
Well, she almost has like a flashback, because she remembers, not like this in the same instance, but she remembers that everybody that says someday, and she even says, usually means never.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a lot of Dolores coming to terms with her past and really shaping her future.
Yes.
So then, boom. A gang is very interested in Dolores, and a guest is with them, and I guess he kind of wants some easy pickings. Yeah. And Teddy comes in with an upgrade like a motherfucker. He comes in and saves the day.
Yeah.
And then Teddy teaches her how to shoot. Well, she can't shoot. That's very key.
Yes.
She can't pull the trigger. I think in her programming, it's said that women can't shoot. That's a part of it.
It could be.
And it's like that.
Well, she's like the damsel in distress type.
She's the damsel, exactly. She's the damsel in distress, and she's not supposed to shoot. So that's what's so significant about it, is that she's breaking her core code. She's breaking her code.
But the way that they did the dialogue, it seemed like she was really, really actually trying to do it.
And she just couldn't.
And she was like, why can't I do it?
Showing that she's programmed not to.
And then he stepped in, though, chauvinistic, like, well, not everybody can pull the trigger, like, as if she didn't have it in her. But she's like, no, I tried.
I want to fucking shoot.
Yeah, and it didn't let me.
Yeah. So then he gets called to action because his origin story gets picked up, and he's going after a guy who is in his origin.
Which will touch in on Ford's part, I guess.
Most definitely. But then the crazy shit happens. So Dolores continues on her loop.
Yes.
She goes, okay, now I have spoken to Teddy in this location. Now I must go home.
Yes.
She goes home. It's nighttime, and she's alone. You hear the shooting. She goes up there, and the gang is there. The guys that wanted to have fun with her earlier. And a lot of very interesting stuff happens. So her new dad is on the ground dead.
Which was the bartender from the first episode with the mustache.
Yes. And she gets a flash. And he turns into Abernathy and then turns back into her new dad.
Yes.
Which really signifies she's starting to collect all of her memories.
Yes.
She's realizing that, holy shit, I've done this 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
This is the biggest deja vu
Thousands.
I've ever had. Yeah.
Over 1,000, we find out.
Yeah. So she's like, holy shit. So she's realizing this. And then pretty much they come on to her and they pull her into the barn.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly
like the man in the man in black pulling her into the barn.
Yes.
What I found interesting was that she actually pulled a gun out from the hay.
Yeah.
Was that always there?
No, so my thinking is the way that you see it in the episode, it's almost like he throws her down in a struggle to the hay. and she grabs the gun, and you're like, where did she get the gun from? And then he reaches down on his belt, and he realizes he doesn't have his gun. So it's almost like he threw the gun in there with her, is what I saw.
The way I saw it was that was a gun that she hid, maybe because she's known from her past memories that they bring me to the barn to rape me.
Yeah.
So this is her learning on how to defend herself.
I would support that theory.
This is what's important about the timelines, okay? From her walking up and seeing her new dad get shot, and then she's flashing back to all these previous memories. She gets dragged into the barn, she pulls out the gun. This is all real time. She kills him.
Well, she doesn't just shoot him, like she has to
really concentrate. And somebody told her to shoot.
Well, it sounds like Bernard, but then at the same time, her memory or her flashes is of the Men in Black. So that's how we can tell that it's the timeline from when we started.
Oh yeah, she needed to, for her to be able to pull the trigger, she had to suffer in a sense. She had to bring back the memories of the Man in Black.
Yes.
For her to be able to actually pull the trigger and kill that man, which kind of corrupted her core code. Because suffering is a human emotion.
Yeah, and it happened exactly in the last episode with Maeve. She was streaming about her nightmare about the scalping incident. Buddy walks in, Buddy being Men in Black, and she does her 3, 2, 1 count and wakes up, and then she's done something above and beyond.
Yeah, so then Dolores kills the man and then goes outside. And she's kind of in panic mode. And then she ends up killing the other guy, but then she gets shot in the process. And she jumps on the horse and runs. But
wait. So she gets shot at.
I think she got shot.
See, this is where we would differ because of the way that they cut it here.
No, I know. She got shot in a past experience.
Yes.
So this is what happened.
No, that's what I mean. So then when they fire, they definitely fire at her.
Yes.
Right? And then the loop that she remembers is when she gets shot. And that's why she looks down and is like, ugh, and it's game over at that point. But then she clicks back into the present time, is at least how I feel it.
Yes.
And she did not get shot.
I'm going to make this as easy to understand.
Watch the episode.
Really, it just blows your fucking mind. So she kills the guy, she runs outside. She is in real time. I feel like this is legit. She goes, boom, she gets shot. That's actually a previous memory from the past 30 years of experience. And then you see her look up and go, holy fuck. I've done this before. I've experienced this. I've gotten shot before. And she picks up, jumps on the horse, and leaves.
Yes.
And she's done that on many different timelines.
Yes.
Okay? And then we see her jump in the arms of William. And that's, a lot of people will say, this proves that William is in the same timeline. No, it doesn't. What it proves is that Dolores has been shot in a previous timeline 30 years ago and is now in William's arms.
Yes.
But now what it means is that Bernard left her in improvisation mode.
Yeah, big, huge thing.
Huge thing. So now that means that Dolores saw her past of her getting shot, being like, holy fuck, I can't stay here. Jumps on the horse and leaves, and she's in improvisation mode right now. So next episode, you're not going to see Dolores with William.
No. Or you might, but it would be William's story.
It'll be past Dolores. It won't be the new Dolores that we know.
And I think to resolve that it's as simple as he seems like the type of guy that wants to have the damsel in distress fantasy. So they send her to him because they've done their analysis and think that's the type of thing he's into.
Yeah, because William he has social anxiety. They touched on that. He has social anxiety issues, and he's paying $50,000. They want him to have a good time. He's a customer. Okay.
Exactly. Or his friend might be paying for
so
him.
how do they do that? They push
Yeah.
a woman on him and make him feel the deeper meaning of, like, make him feel actual love, which is what Ford was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, like, the horrors or the quick scares. It's about actually feeling something real.
Yeah, because he was sort of hesitant. He actually got blasted earlier in trying to save the hooker woman, and then he wasn't into it. So this is like a different angle of trying to get.
It's because I think the difference is that somebody who's like that, has that personality trait, they want to feel like they're loved and they're accepted.
Exactly.
Before they make the move.
Well, it's like
the fact that she takes to him will make him feel
whereas
something.
The hooker would have did it anyways, and maybe just gave him a freebie.
Yeah.
In that case.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So Teddy. Okay. So really quick. So he comes back as a guide, as we talked about earlier, but the main story with him is that they updated his origin.
Not they, just Ford.
Yeah, Ford. So, and what I found fascinating is that, you know, he was known as a mystery man, and then I wonder why Ford decided to give him an origin, but it seemed like he was really playing on more religion.
Yeah, it's
in his
weird why.
imagery.
Well, Teddy's got to be a main character because of the actor that they have in the spotlight they've put on him. But out of all the characters within the amusement park, it seems weird to pick him.
Yeah, but I
guess
got it.
he's outspoken.
But yeah, Ford said what we were already proved. Like, he was literally made to be the loser.
Yeah.
And Ford told him that. Like, you are made to make our guests notice Dolores.
Yeah, he's a leash for Dolores.
Yeah, and be able to kill you. Yeah, and he's a leash for Dolores. And yeah, he's all these other things. But he's meant to lose so the guests can get Dolores.
Yes.
But he decided to make him a fucking superhero, and him shooting up, like,
yeah.
it was so
It's so
funny.
awesome.
It was so funny. Flash, the last episode he gets shot and killed. This episode, go, like perfect aim.
So they put a little lead in his pencil.
Oh, it was unreal. And then he went out to try and look for this man who was a part of his origin that he had to capture or kill. And he ends up, long story short, he gets trapped by all these, like, natives or something.
It seems like another cult. So they mentioned that. So it's so crazy. So him and this woman host, go out to hunt this guy, and they see a bunch of dead bodies attached to a tree, and they all have like skinned faces or extra skin masks on their faces, but they end up being alive. And then so they run into these guys in the woods that are like dressed in like occult style garb, like cult kind of stuff, like horns and teeth and black faced out. And it's crazy, but they can't be killed almost.
Yeah, this was really confusing. Is like even superhero Teddy couldn't hurt any of them, and they ended up killing him. So that's really interesting. I don't really have any answers for that.
Yeah, and which begs the question is, what happened to the guest? Because we were talking about it, right? Like, if you're a guest, you paid for this experience, got a little too intense,
Yeah.
and then your one guide that was with you, the sheriff gets killed in that scene, and Teddy, and she's out in the dark desert in the middle of the night. Like, what would she do?
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's crazy.
I have no idea. But they do watch her, though. So they may be able to come and send rescue or something. But then we go to two people outside of Westworld, Ashley and Elsie. So they're pretty much go into Westworld to find a stray. And they're starting to discover more culture beats in these robots.
Yeah.
Like, they found constellations carved into wood.
But they're riffing off each other because they're both sort of politically opposed to how things are. Because one's logical and one's, like, practical.
Yeah, exactly. So then they come across a situation where they find this guy who's kind of stuck in, like, a crevice. I don't know what he was doing, but he was trying to get out when they got there.
For me, it looked like he could even be digging. But it could have been that he was just trying to climb out.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of shit happened where they went in and they wanted to decommission him or something. So Ashley went down and tried to saw off the guy's head. And then he went fucking haywire and then hit Ashley out of the way, climbed up. And you'd think that he was going to attack Elsie, but he kills himself with a rock.
Yeah.
So I think...
Keeps smashing his head.
Yeah. So I think it's almost really poetic in a sense because a robot doesn't decommission himself.
Or was there an outside force that was like, okay, this is getting way too intense?
It could have been that
Shut
too.
her down.
It could have been that too, but I would have liked it more if it was saying something about the change in the robot's mindset. Because I say that makes you more human.
Mm-hmm.
A robot killing itself, that's a very emotional place to do something like that.
Yeah, like, that's a tough one to analyze just in one night.
Very tough. But let's go to even a more fucked up thing to analyze. Ford.
Yeah, Ford
He was like a different person in this episode.
Ford went like full-on Hannibal Lecter role, this one.
I love Ford.
Oh,
but then
he's
he's
awesome.
like, but then the guy's wearing a blanket. He's like, don't forget what they are. They're a robot. Look at him. He's naked.
Yeah.
Is he cold? No.
He cuts his
Slice.
face with a scalpel.
Yeah, cuts his face. Doesn't feel a thing. Damn straight.
Yeah, and then he's sort of like annoyed with Bernard because Bernard keeps asking the same question and he's barking up a tree that Ford seemed so open to last time. Like, he's like, yeah, curiosity. And I was like, yo, Bernard, shut the fuck up, man. Like, what are you doing? So it's like, what is he doing now? It seems like it's total different motivations in this episode.
Yeah, so I don't even know. Like, I know he's pursuing mistakes, it seems like. But no, what I took from him is that he doesn't want Bernard to make the same mistake as Arnold, which was his last partner, which they get too attached.
Yeah.
To
well, he gives an explanation like this guy was pushing one way, all AI, no innovation, like just strictly AI. I want to create consciousness. I want to create real things. Whereas Ford says he took the role of no, I want to create an amusement park. I want to create as real as we can get it without getting it too real.
Yeah, so it's unreal.
It's like a 180 on his character in this, but not like a bad 180. It just
yeah,
was
it's just
like,
fascinating.
whoa, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, we learned a lot more about Bernard too. Like we were right about how he actually did lose his son.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ford is nervous with him because he's very vulnerable because his son is gone, and
Mhm.
you know, I guess he might be looking for someone to talk to, and it seems like that could be Dolores, but at the same time, he's studying her.
But do you think Ford knows that he goes and meets with Dolores? That's what it seemed like.
I don't know.
Like
It seems like he's familiar with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He may know, but yeah, he's asked like Dolores a lot of questions, just asking her about how her mind works and getting a feel for her intelligence level and all that stuff. And she blows his mind a couple times, but I don't really remember exact details.
Yeah. We're watching this episode again.
We're definitely watching it again, and we're taking notes. But the most fascinating part is that he put her in just improvisation only.
Yeah, he left the door open.
Took out all scripts. So now that means new Dolores has no loops.
Yeah.
So she's out there now in Westworld, and she has no loops. She doesn't go into town. She doesn't drop the jam. She doesn't go into...
He did mention to stay on your loop. But he forgot. He said improvisation mode when he was talking to her failed to turn that back off.
Yeah, but now the fact that she has been... I don't think Dolores has ever experienced post-house shooting.
No.
Exactly.
I
So
agree.
now she's improvised, and her house has been shot up. So she's going to look for Teddy, and she's going to try and leave.
Yeah. But Teddy, she learned going home, before she went home, that Teddy had died.
Yeah, so I think she might try and find his dead body, or maybe she'll see him being like, oh, hey, like, totally forgot about her, but she'll still be on the same time, like, what the fuck, I heard you died, and he'll be like, what are you talking about? Like, I haven't seen you in, like, years.
Well, this is a spoiler alert for people who don't like watching stuff that's, like, ahead, but we see in the previews of her, like, packing heat, so
Yeah.
it almost looks like she has pants on and she's, like, in adventure mode, so... I don't know. It seems like that's coming to that.
Oh, it'll be interesting. Like, we have so much more to say, but it's one of those things we need to sit down, watch this episode again, and I'm telling you, our next analysis is going to be like 2 hours, I think. Like,
Yeah,
I have a lot to say.
This is a deep one.
A lot to say. But overall, like, episode was just fucking phenomenal, and I feel like every episode that focuses in on Dolores and, like, Teddy and the actual androids and the people of Westworld is an episode that's going to win.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to focus on Dolores. I want to focus on Teddy. Like, that to me is where the story is. I find it really fascinating. I love the other stuff, but they're my favorites. So, yeah, I think that's it.
We have to cut it there. We'll just be rambling if we haven't been already.
I hope you guys pulled something from our really messy reaction and review. And we'll have a more detailed analysis later.
And at least to me, that timeline theory still holds.
You got to get that final word in, eh?
I have to. Because no matter what you believe at the end, that's not the same Dolores.
Yeah, and no matter what,
she would be way more panicked. She would be way more out of breath. Like, she just kind of shows up.
Damn straight. We'll leave it at that. See you later.
See you later, guys.